Shadows in the squared circle. In the neon-lit underbelly of professional wrestling, where sweat-soaked canvases bore the scars of 1,000 battles, Mean Mark Ashe reigned supreme. It was 1995, the height of his prime, a time when the wrestling world pulsed with raw energy and larger-than-life personas. Mark was a hulking figure at 6'1" and 220 pounds of chiseled muscle, his tights depicting flames and shattered chains. His ring name, Mean Mark Ashe, wasn't just a gimmick. It was his essence. With a shaved head gleaming under the spotlights, a perpetual scowl etched on his face, and a signature move called the Ashe Kicker, a devastating top-rope splash that left opponents gasping. He embodied the villain everyone loved to hate. Mark had clawed his way up from the dingy independent circuits of the Midwest, where he'd honed his craft in smoke-filled armories and high school gyms. Now, at 32, he was the main event draw for the Global Wrestling Federation, GWF, headlining pay-per-views and drawing crowds that chanted his name with a mix of boos and reluctant admiration. But beneath the bravado, Mark carried a secret reverence for the legends who came before him. None loomed larger in his mind than the Vortex Victor Vance, a wrestler from the 1970s whose career had ended in tragedy. Victor Vance was the epitome of old-school wrestling royalty. Known as the Vortex for his whirlwind suplexes that spun opponents like leaves in a storm, he had dominated the territorial era, with a blend of technical prowess and charismatic flair. Mark, as a wide-eyed kid in the 1980s, had idolized Vance from afar. He'd sneak into arenas, pressing his face against the chain-link fences, to watch Vance dismantle foes with precision and power. Vance's promos were poetry, fiery soliloquies that hyped matches into epic sagas. But in 1982, at the peak of his fame, Vance died in a freak accident during a match. A botched pile driver snapped his neck, and the wrestling world mourned a hero cut down too soon. Rumors swirled. Some said it was foul play. Others blamed the rigors of the road. Mark, then just a teenager, had wept in his bedroom, clutching a faded poster of Vance mid-vortex. Now, in his prime, Mark's goal was clear: to surpass Vance's legacy by capturing the GWF World Heavyweight Championship, a title Vance had never held due to the fragmented nature of wrestling back then. The current champion, ironclad Ivan Thorpe, was an undefeated behemoth who'd held the belt for 2 years, his reign a fortress of brutality. Thorpe was everything Mark despised: arrogant, corporate-backed, and rumor had it he'd patterned his style after Vance, but twisted it into something soulless. Defeating Thorpe wasn't just about gold. It was about honoring his idol by achieving what Vance couldn't. Mark trained relentlessly, his days a blur of weights, cardio, and tape study. He'd watch old VHS footage of Vance, mimicking the Vortex suplex until his back screamed in protest. It started subtly, on a humid night in Atlanta after a grueling house show. Mark had just pinned a mid-carder with his avalanche, the crowd's jeers raining down like confetti. Backstage, in the dimly lit locker room, he slumped on a bench, unwrapping his taped wrists. The air grew cold, unnaturally so, and a whisper cut through the hum of fluorescent lights. "Not good enough, kid." Mark froze, his heart pounding. He spun around, but the room was empty. Shaking it off as exhaustion, he headed to his hotel. That night, in his suite, the whispers returned. In the mirror, as he shaved, a shadowy figure flickered behind him. a man with Vance's signature mustache and piercing blue eyes. Mark dropped his razor, blood trickling from a nick on his chin. "What the hell?" he muttered. The apparitions escalated. During workouts, weights would lift on their own, clanging to the floor with a force that echoed Vance's old entrance music. In the ring during practice, Mark felt invisible hands guiding his moves, correcting his form on the suplex. But it wasn't helpful. It was haunting. The ghost, for that's what Mark now believed it was, appeared fully one evening in the empty arena after dark. Vance's form materialized in the center of the ring, translucent but unmistakable, dressed in his classic black tights with the swirling vortex emblem. "You think you're ready for Thorpe?" the ghost sneered, his voice a gravelly echo from beyond. "I've been watching you, Ash. You're strong, mean as they come, but you're missing it. The fire, the soul." Mark, sweat-drenched from shadowboxing, backed against the turnbuckle. "Vance? This can't be real. You're dead." "Dead, but not gone," the ghost replied, circling him like a predator. "You idolized me, boy? Flattering? But idols are meant to be shattered. My goal was always to defeat the unbeatable, to push wrestling into immortality. I never got there. That pile driver? It wasn't an accident. Thorpe's old man, his trainer, sabotaged the ring. Jealousy. Now, you're my vessel. Defeat Ivan, or I'll drag you down with me." Revelation hit Mark like a chair shot. Thorpe's father had been a rival promoter in the territories, bitter over Vance stealing the spotlight. The ghost's presence wasn't benevolent. It was obsessive, a restless spirit, demanding closure. From then on, the haunting intensified. In matches, Mark would hear Vance's critiques mid-move. Sloppy footwork, or hit harder. Opponents swore they saw Mark arguing with thin air, his mean persona cracking under the strain. Mark's life became a nightmare. Sleep evaded him as Vance's ghost recounted tales of glory and regret. Nights on the road, sold-out Madison Square Garden, the pain of a body breaking down. "I was you once," Vance whispered. "Hungry, mean. But I let envy consume me. Don't repeat my mistakes." Desperate, Mark sought answers. He visited old wrestling haunts, talking to veterans who'd known Vance. One grizzled referee, sipping whiskey in a Chicago bar, confirmed the sabotage rumor. Thorpe Sr. hated Victor, loosened the ropes. That night, Victor went down wrong. Cover-up followed. Mark's rage boiled, his goal sharpened. Not just win the title, but expose the Thorpe legacy as tainted. As the pay-per-view Vortex Vengeance approached, ironically named after Vance's move, Mark trained with a fury possessed. The ghost pushed him, manifesting during sessions to spar invisibly, his ethereal grapples leaving real bruises. "Feel that? That's what defeat tastes like," Vance taunted after pinning Mark's shadow. Backstage politics swirled. Thorpe, a 300-pound monster with a shaved head and iron-plated shoulder pads, cut promos mocking Mark's mean streak as outdated. "Ash is Ash, burned out," he'd bellow into cameras. Mark responded with venom, his eyes haunted. "I'm coming for you, Ivan, for the belt, and for the ghosts you can't escape." The night of the event arrived in Las Vegas, the arena electric with 20,000 fans. Mark's entrance was thunderous, pyro exploding like ashes from a volcano, his theme a growling heavy metal riff. But as he slid under the ropes, Vance's ghost appeared in the corner, visible only to him. "This is it, kid. My unfinished business. Defeat him or join me." The bell rang. Thorpe charged like a freight train, clubbing Mark with forearms that echoed through the building. Mark absorbed the punishment, his mind flashing to Vance's old matches. He countered with a spine buster, the impact shaking the ring. The crowd roared, sensing something primal. Mid-match, Thorpe locked in his finisher, the iron lock, a submission hold that mimicked Vance's vortex, but with vicious torque. Pain shot through Mark's back, and he heard Vance scream, "Fight it! Remember my fall!" Visions flooded Mark. Vance's final match, the snap of his neck, the crowd's horrified silence. With a surge of adrenaline, Mark powered out, reversing into his own suplex. A perfect vortex, spun with the fury of two wrestlers. Thorpe crashed hard, the mat trembling. Mark climbed the ropes, the ghost nodding approval from the apron. "Now, Ash, end it!" The ash kicker connected, Thorpe's body crumpling. 1, 2, 3. The bell tolled, and the arena erupted. Mark held the belt aloft, tears mixing with sweat. As confetti fell, Vance's ghost approached, his form fading. "You did it, kid. Surpassed me. My goal, achieved through you. Rest now." The ghost dissolved into mist, leaving Mark alone in victory. But the haunting lingered in his soul, a reminder that legends never truly die. They evolve. In the years that followed, Mark defended the title with a renewed fire, incorporating Vance's moves into his arsenal. He exposed the sabotage in a tell-all interview, tarnishing the Thorpe name and bringing closure to old wounds. Mean Mark Ash became more than a villain. He was a bridge between eras, haunted no longer but inspired. Yet, on quiet nights, when the adrenaline faded, Mark would glance in the mirror, half expecting those blue eyes. The wrestling world moved on, but for Mark, the squared circle was forever shadowed by the ghost he had idolized, and ultimately defeated. Mark's reign lasted 3 years, a golden era for the GWF. He retired in 2000, his body battered, but his spirit unbroken. Today, in 2025, as wrestling evolves with high-flying acrobats and social media stars, Mark runs a training academy, teaching young hopefuls the vortex suplex. Whispers persist of strange occurrences, weights moving, echoes of old promos, but Mark smiles. "Ghosts? Nah, just the fire inside."